Testing 1, 2. Matt's mic. Hello, Mustang Nation. Matt Carnes, Grapevine Booster here for week 1 of the Coach Mike Alexander Show, Team 102. It's week 2, but show number 1. We had some things going on week number 1, but here, as always, for the Coach Mike Alexander Show with Coach Mike Alexander. And we have sponsorship this year again from Kim Assaad. I'd like to give her a special thanks. But, Coach, here we are. Football is live again. It's good to have fans back in the crowd. And here we are, season 5 for us together.
Man, it is. It's season 5. Thanks for coming back for another year, Matt. When Jake graduated last year, I wasn't sure if you'd be willing to do it, but I'm excited you are. So thank you.
You bet. Thanks for having me. Well, it's been an interesting start to the year. Started, of course, with a crosstown rivalry game. Didn't go as planned, but the season started off on a real somber note. As everybody knows, we're dealing with a heavy heart situation there. And I know you spoke at Ricky's funeral on Saturday, but let's just take a minute to reflect on Ricky.
Well, like I said at the service, Matt. I mean, Ricky was a friend. The theme of the service was everybody got up there and said, that he was his best friend, and that's just the kind of man that Ricky was. And he was a phenomenal human. He meant more to my field house or our field house than I knew. But over the last week, I've just been able to talk with our players, and they just tell me how many times like he just pulled them out of a dark place or encouraged them and those types of things. And so man, gonna be missed greatly on this world. But what a legacy he left behind, though.
It was incredible to me after going to the visitation and seeing how many people were there, hearing those that spoke. Everybody that knew Ricky felt like they were part of his inner circle. And if you're thinking about Ricky Tejada, you talk about a man of God. He demonstrated the characters of Christ at everything he did, and it's just incredible. I'm so thankful to be a part of his life, and what a blessing he is to the team, and like you say, to the players and to the dad when he spoke to us at Breakfast with Champions. So, but with that, we'll start moving on into the season. Of course, week one we had fans in the stands. That was good to see. We actually had fans back in the stands, but week two, let's talk briefly about week two, and then we'll talk about your DNA players.
Yeah, so the Byron Nelson week, very similar to it kind of lined out very similar to last year. Honestly, we were once again without our number one running back in Caleb Tejada, for different reasons this year, but we were down the defensive one of our starting defensive ends again this year, as Garrett Gardner's still coming off an injury and hasn't played yet. So the same issues that we had last year when we played them, we're still present this year. But the emergence of Victor De La Cruz and our offensive line really kept us in the game. It was an entertaining game. I think there were 4 or 5 lead changes throughout the game the other night, and I can't. We didn't do the things we needed to do in the fourth quarter to win this football game. Is the bottom line, Matt. That we have a plan to win in our locker room, and we executed 1.5 of the 5 things that we have to do to win the football game throughout the course of the 4 quarters. And so, hats off to Byron. They played a good game, and they're a good football team. But we're ready to move forward and reload.
Well, as you said in the pregame interview, it was going to be a fourth quarter. You had a fourth quarter strategy. It didn't come out as planned, but it was an entertaining game, back and forth. And obviously, offense and defense, you saw a lot of highlights and good things happening there. So that's good. All right, well, let's talk about the DNA kids.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get those guys headed up here. And while we're getting those kids up, it's going to be a little bit of probably a little bit of a chaos. We're coming to you live, by the way, from Mesa Mexican Grill in Grapevine. This year, we're bringing the Mustangs to Grapevine, so it's going to be fun to have it. This week, we're here at Mesa Mexican Grill, and then next week, we will be at Pinstripes down south. But we're going to bring in the DNA kids right now. Let Coach talk to those guys. So I'm going to step out.
Stand right there.
Here, I'm going to hand off. You guys all line in behind me.
Y'all just stand over there next to me. All right. So, Jack, just stand over there. Y'all please stand up the wall. There you go. All right, that'll work. All right, so we got Adrian White here. Adrian, congratulations on being named the Attitude Mustang DNA Trait Player of the Week. Tell the people here what does it mean to you to be the Attitude Player of the Week?
Pretty much, really, what it means to me is just in the course of a football game, things can go positive, things can go negative, and with a great attitude, when things are going negative, you make plays, you still do what you got to do to help the team win the game. With a good attitude, that's what I try to do. And that's really what it means to me.
Well, I think something that's huge is, wasn't all perfect for our defensive backfield, but you guys stuck together and you led well and kept the guys positive with your words and your actions, and you made several good plays that we're going to see here in a minute on our highlights. Okay, let's bring Dylan Beckwith up. Pass the mic to Dylan. All right, Dylan. So you are week 2 Mustang DNA Trait Compete Player of the Week. All right. What does it mean to be the Compete Player of the Week in our locker room?
It's to you gotta try your best to beat the guy across from you, and win for every square against your opponent on the defensive line, at least for my position as offense.
Well, you did a great job. You were dominant up front. A lot of
got the pool a lot this week and lead
Yes.
up on some
Yes, sir.
linebackers. That's a fun thing for you, isn't it?
Yes, no, yeah, we ran Power County, 12, 15 times. Pretty exhausting, but at the same time, a lot of fun. If you get the right, you hit the right spot, and you got a lot of momentum coming forward, and kind of demolish them. So I had a great opportunity to have, do that.
Appreciate you. Well, there he goes, your Mustang Compete DNA Player of the Week. All right, let's bring up Victor. All right, Victor. Man, 40 carries, 160 plus yards. Big night for you, man.
Yeah.
Big night for the Mustangs in the run game. Tell me about being the tough DNA Trait Player of the Week.
Just getting up every play. After I get hit, just getting right back up and doing the next play, taking it one play at a time. It's like winning the day.
Yeah. Well, man, we're proud of you. You played tough. I think that your teammates, you earned a lot of their respect from the way you played and how you carried yourself the other night. So thank you so much.
Yep.
All right, Colt Mercer, come on up. Colt, you are family Mustang DNA Trait Player of the Week. Tell the people at home, what does it mean to be family Player of the Week?
It just means to just play for your brothers and just give your 100% every play. Just play for your brothers.
Yeah, and I don't know how many snaps you got, Colt, the other night, but you made the most of them. And when you got in there, your presence was definitely felt, and you impacted the game greatly. And we appreciate you more than you know. You're a leader on our team, and we just congratulations.
Sir, thank you.
All right, JD, come on up. All right, so JD Rice, you're our Discipline Player of the Week. What does that mean to you to be the Discipline Player of the Week?
Being a punter, it's kind of like the janitor for the offense when something goes wrong. So I just got to stay disciplined, and I have to really go for the balls whenever I need them. Keep my head in it, especially when it goes wrong.
It got hairy the other night for sure, man. Our worst fears as the head coach and the punter came true a couple times. That ball on the ground, ball over your head, but man, you kept your composure. And in the stat book, it goes down as about a 9 or 10 yard punt, but man, in the real world, you saved us so much field position. And thank you for being disciplined, keeping your head on straight, and taking care of business. Appreciate you, JD Rice. There he goes. And then finally, our Mustang DNA Fight Player of the Week, Jack Yarbrough. Why do you think you got Fight Player of the Week, Jack?
Every play I'm going out there, giving it all I got, fighting for everything, on defense, playing like a linebacker position. I'm pretty small, so I definitely got to fight every single play, and hopefully things will go in our way in this upcoming game, and, just keep going, fighting every down.
Jack, you're a good leader on our football team. You're the most intense player on the defense. And, man, I just want to tell you thank you for your efforts this week and leading by example. There he goes, guys. Your Fight Player of the Week. Thank you.
And that, Mustang Nation, is why we have the DNA Players of the Week. So that's why we have the DNA Players of the Week. I'll tell you what, Coach, I am just so impressed and have been always through with all the things you teach these kids and help them. Everything you're teaching them on the DNA trait's going to help them every day of their lives. So it's just absolutely incredible. Although I've never heard of janitor. What a great...
Well, there was a lot of Twitter chatter too about on our Champion Sports Radio broadcast. One of the guys said that punters aren't very athletic, and JD took offense to that, and he let him know about it.
Well, I heard that comment on the broadcast. I was listening, and I did hear that. But had it not been for his athleticism, like you say, the field position would have been a whole different ball game. All right, well, back to the ball game. Final score 34-24, Nelson. Let's go look at some highlights here and tell us what was going on during the game.
Well, the game plan, Matt, we were going to run the rock, and we, knowing that we didn't have Caleb in the lineup, didn't really deter us. We're going to run the rock. We knew Victor is a very accomplished, capable runner, tough as nails.
And, man, our offensive line did a great job all night long. This clip that we're seeing right now is, I believe that this is the first drive of the game. So we snapped the ball, I think, 11 or 12 times the first drive of the game, and all runs. This is a counter play. We got Dylan Beckwith pulling with Henry Miller behind him. Hank Miller getting his first start of the year there at the tight end position, and did a great job. Going to keep getting better and better there. Next clip's going to be down at the goal line, and we've run the ball all the way down the field, and then we finish up in our jumbo package, and this is where we got stopped against Heritage on week 1 on the 4th and 1, and we're able to punch it in right here. And jumbo package was undefeated the other night. We were 100% every time we got in jumbo and getting what we need done.
And you can see what it means when they're just pushing people out of the way.
A lot of bodies in there. Okay, later on in the first quarter, this is the first errant snap. But and is that a highlight? Well, it is in one way. I mean, because that thing could have gone really sideways in a hurry. If JD doesn't collect himself and get this punt off, we're defending 10 yards of real estate right there. As it is, we got 50 to go. So, that was a huge help to the defense right there, just a heads-up play by JD.
I would call it a highlight.
All right, defense. We get them in the 3rd and long right here. Still in the first quarter. Adrian White gets our first interception. We took the ball away from these guys 3 times the other night. Typically when you do that, you win 70% of the time. But we hurt ourselves in some other ways. But Adrian White, great play right there. He makes a couple other really nice plays throughout the course of the evening as well. All right. Now they start committing a few more people to the box, and now it's time to show them a little bit of run look and sling it out there and let our skill guys do some damage on the perimeter. So this is Drew Vi getting his first catch of the evening. Drew came off a big game against Heritage, played well again the other night. We got a lot of competition right now in our wide receiver room. Those guys are really competing well at practice.
Well, you can tell that they didn't like the steady diet of 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards per carry from Victor. So they're going to bring. Yeah, they're bringing in the fill in the box.
Yep. Okay, back to running the rock. Here we go. We got Hank Miller leading up there with once again same play we led off the broadcast with, and we had this all night long. Our offensive line just blowing things up in the middle. Great down blocks, good kicks, and then Hank, with being a very athletic tight end, leading up there on the safety is what you got. So proud of those offensive linemen for leading the way the other night.
The offensive linemen are standing out when they're getting called out by name and number by the radio broadcast team.
Isn't that a beautiful thing?
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, for sure. All right, C.J. Holmes, everybody. C.J. had a couple big plays the other night, and he's one of the guys that has just earned more and more time on the field at his receiver position. We have a philosophy, Matt, that we believe in at our place, and that's we're going to earn everything every day. And so CJ's earning the right to play and get time on the field, and so he's going to keep getting opportunities. And he's not the only one. We've got a lot of competition in our defensive backfield and our wide receiver room. We're going to see a lot more people get playing time. And then rounding off that drive with another jumbo package, just running power right up the gut. Man, I love to see that right there.
That was easy.
Yep. Okay, Adrian White coming up clutch again. They'd hit us with this a little bit earlier on the other side of the field, not on Adrian, but on another cornerback where they stack the receivers and then get separation. Adrian closes well, breaks up the pass. Man, you couldn't have played it any better than he did right there. Really proud of the work that Adrian's putting in on becoming a really, really solid cornerback. And here we go, C.J. Holmes again. You see what wiggle he's got. And, he's one of those guys on the weekends, Matt. I just say we got to find ways to get this guy the ball more,
Well, you get what, 6, 7, 8 yards after the catch on this one just by making a miss, or more like 9 or 10.
Yes, sir. He's he's fun to see. He's fun to watch with the ball in his hand. I got to get the ball in his hand more. All right, later in the game, this is the emergence of Sammy Kelly, sophomore receiver right here. Another one of these guys that's just working their tail off in practice, earning opportunities. Sammy's an athletic kid that got a lot of compete in him. He loves to compete, and he does a great job right here tucking the ball away and fighting. I was sure hoping he was going to get in right there.
For what it's worth, the radio broadcasters were willing to give him the touchdown.
He came up a little short, but we punched in on
maybe
jumbo.
A little bit.
And then our 2-point play right here. Our 2-point play right here, Leighton Towery, Colt Mercer to Leighton Towery. Just great play design by our offensive staff, and perfect execution by the players. So great job, guys.
Here we go with them trying to adjust again on the fly.
Yeah, this is the fourth quarter. Man, we're down 10. We really feel like right now, if we can get the ball back, we got a chance to to jump back in this thing. I think there was about 4 minutes left at the time. Hunter Lasher with the interception. Great job disguising coverage. We were showing him too high as long as possible. And then he closes the middle late. Quarterback makes one of the poor throws that he made on the evening, but Hunter made him pay and gave ourselves a chance. It's a 10-point game at this point, and we just didn't close out the fourth quarter, Matt. It's the bottom line, but great play by Hunter Lasher right here.
Well, that was it. As you say, it didn't end as well as you were hoping it would, but it was still a good ball game, still entertaining, and like we said, you saw a lot of good things coming. A lot of the kids had a chance to demonstrate their DNA traits, so that was good. And as always, game day started with Breakfast of Champions. To me, one of the most underrated things that we do at Grapevine, or that you do at Grapevine, Breakfast of Champions. Men of the community, you got to be there. This week we had Chris Avila speak to the men. 7:15 every Friday morning on game days. You need to be there. But tell us about Chris and Breakfast of Champions.
Man, it's just a great time for dads, granddads, men in our community to come in our locker room and just break bread together, support our boys, and hear a message of encouragement from some really gifted speakers.
Absolutely.
This week we have a huge treat, Matt. We're bringing in Keith Davis, one of Pastor Tejada's very, very close friends. He's coming back to speak, so don't miss. Don't miss Keith Davis. I can tell you, he spoke to our team, I think, 3 times now since I've been the head coach, and I can tell you all his messages. I remember his taglines, and so I'm excited about that.
Looking forward to that. That's going to be good. Man, if you can make it, you need to be there. It is really worth it, not just for the players, but also for the boys. But this week, we're heading back to the Northwest ISD Stadium. We get to go play the Northwest Texans. Tell us what we're looking for with the Texans in the game coming up this week.
They're an improved team. They're better than they were last year, Matt. I'll tell you. I think that Coach Poe, for whatever reason, he's committing to running the football. He's using his quarterback as a run threat. Jake Strong, very, very talented junior quarterback over there in Justin. We're gonna have our hands full. We're gonna have our hands full stopping the run. Defensively, they're aggressive. They're getting in a lot of different looks up front. You know, I don't know yet the recipe the recipe for success offensively. I think we can run the ball on them. I believe we're going to need to throw it a little bit more than what we probably did last week, but we're going to be prepared for whatever it takes to get this win. This is an important one this week, Matt. We need to get this W going into open date.
Well, it'll be the last non-conference, then we go to district. Before we do that, let's talk about the freshman and JV teams. How are the freshman and JV programs looking right now?
Yeah, so numbers are down a little bit from our past several years. Not sure exactly, what the reasoning is for that, but numbers a little bit down. We're only carrying right now one JV instead of two like we normally do, but they're 1-1. They lost by one score to Heritage week 1, and then beat the brakes off Byron Nelson last week. So they're doing a good job. And then the freshmen are just getting better every week. They don't have they don't have a bunch of kids like the junior class had when they were freshmen that are big breakaway touchdown guys like the Parker Polk had all those big long touchdown runs when he was a freshman and stuff like that. But we got a bunch of kids in that freshman group that really like each other and care about each other, and I think they're gelling to become a really good football team when it's all said and done.
Well, good. So that'll keep the future at Grapevine bright for that. And like we said, we're bringing the Mustangs to Grapevine mostly this year, although next week we will be at Pinstripes. But listen to this line we're going to be getting to do for the coaches show. For the first time, we're actually getting to do it out here. Of course, we're at Mesa in Grapevine tonight, but check out the show we got here coming up, Coach. We've got Pinstripes next week. Then Esparza's Bottle Cap Alley, main event, Chick-fil-A, Chiloso, Mooyah, Hotel Vin. The Booster Club and Henry Miller have done a great job of getting us set up with some really good spots. Of course, Kim Assaad coming back and sponsoring again this year. Special thanks to her. Anything else we want to cover before we get ready for the game this week?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Sounds good. Well, men, don't forget, Friday morning, 7 o'clock, bring some food for the players and the coaches. We'll see you there. It'll be worth it. Keith Davis again this week. We'll see you at Northwest ISD, 7:30 on Friday night. And then next week, we'll be at Pinstripes, so come see us there at Pinstripes. Coach, good to be back. We'll see you next week.
Go Mustangs.